this is Heidi, and this week I'm going to be answering some questions that people ask me. But first, an announcement. Remember last year there was this thing we called Asexual Awareness Week? Well, if you're interested in helping organize that, there's a committee being started up by Sarah Beth Brooks. She made a video, and I will be providing links to that. So check it out. So last week, I asked in my video for people to ask me questions, and I got some, which surprised me. So, let's go over those. So I got a question from X-Racis. Are your eyes blue? No, my eyes are hazel. They sort of match my hair, except my hair is not gold, green, brown. My hair is just brown, red, yellow. It's funny, although I have found a green hair in there once. It was weird. Questions from Southie. If I could be an anime character, who would it be? I thought about this for a while, and I was like, who would it be? And then I was like, oh, right, duh. Leaf from Record of Lodoss War. Because she's quite awesome, I suppose. Also, she doesn't, I don't know, there's lots of reasons, but I actually cosplayed as her once for Anime Expo 2009, I believe it was. Where do I see myself in 10 years from now? I don't, in all honesty. Probably still living with my parents and working out of the house. If I had a pet squirrel, what would I name it? I think it depend on the squirrel, because, well, I might name it Stick Figure, just because. What do I think is the hardest part about being ace? I think it's the criticism, and because I've come across people who are very skeptical, and I just kind of want to punch them in the face because they say all those things that you're not supposed to say to an asexual person, and it's really aggravating because when I try to explain myself, I don't have a way of explaining myself, because as far as sexual attraction goes, because I don't understand it, I have issues providing a metaphor for what that means to people, so it's awkward. But the best part is that everything else, I don't mind. I like being ace. I don't like the whole idea of, the sexual attraction and finding that thing. I'd much rather focus on the parts of relationships that people tend to skip over in favor of sexual attraction. So I like being ace. It's not, problematic for me. Why is the fear of long words such a long word? I think it's because etymologically speaking, it couldn't be any shorter, because there's phobia, and then there's words, and then there's, so that's why, I guess. What is the best size for a paper to be? This really depends on the print job. For example, I wouldn't want a business card that's tabloid size. That'd be an awful problematic to carry around, but at the same time, I wouldn't want a promotional poster that's A3. For me, my personal use, I prefer paper that's 8.5 by 11 inches or 9 by 12 inches, because they fit in my printer and I can scan them easier. How did your hair get to be so awesome? Is it because of your awesomeness? By awesome, I assume you mean this puffy mess thing. Yeah, the answer to that is because I sleep with wet hair. Oh, this looks even worse. Dungeons or Dragons? Why, hello, Pandora's box. To be honest, as far as dungeon mastering goes, because I've done it once and I'm currently doing it now, I've never actually used a dungeon or a dragon in any of my games, which might sound weird, but there's just so much stuff in D&D. That said, there are certain things about dungeons versus dragons that are interesting. For example, dungeons, I think, are a lot harder to make than dragons are, because there's lots of stats provided for dragons. For example, there's the metallic dragons, the chromatic dragons, and now the primal dragons in Pathfinder, if you follow Pathfinder and not 4.0, which sucks. But for dungeons, there are stats, but you have to organize everything in hallways, like figuring out whether you want the walls to be hardness 4 or 5, or if you can knock them down, or what doors are this. It's complicated. Not to say that I wouldn't mind making dungeons if I ever actually got around to it. But as far as dragons go, I am actually planning on using dragons later on in another campaign that I'm working on. I have a character, an NPC, that's quite connected to dragons, as might be visible. I could go on about dungeons or dragons forever, but that's the shorthand version. And then I got some questions from Sassy. Lots of questions from Sassy. Sassy! Kittens or chocolate? I'd much rather eat chocolate than kittens, but chocolate's not very good to cuddle up against, so chocolate, I have that with me, so yeah. What artist or art form do you really not rate? A lot of contemporary art bothers me, mostly because I guess there's some things about the whole pushing the boundaries of what it means to be art. I could accept some of that in far as symbolic stuff, but there's some stuff that goes a little too far. Like, what's his face? The guy who nailed himself to the hood of his car. I don't consider that art. What countries are in my must-see list? Oh dear. I guess France right now is kind of important because there's a clinic there that studies my disorder. So, the only one in the world. So I kind of want to go there. I want to go to Japan again, and Italy again. And I want to go to Germany too, because German chocolate, and Belgium chocolate, and iron, so I can, see you and stuff. That would be nice. Please sum up gender in 7 or less words. Okay. Thing which polarizes opinions on body consciousness. I think that gender is really the key in what, a lot of body consciousness occurs, because you have people who have the idealized male form, the idealized female form, and there's no idealized form per se, just idealized, because it's focused on gender. And then you have people with gender dysphoria who feel that they are in the wrong body and have this whole other set of complications. So I could go into it much more, but I think that that's one way of putting it. I mean, granted, television could definitely fit that description, but I think that, television just doesn't really polarize so much as it projects one image rather than polarizing. So, relationship or career? Career, hands down. Alright, that's all for my questions. Make sure you guys check out that video that I'm going to put a link in, and, yes. So, remember guys, stay good and healthy and all that other stuff, and I will see you next week when I have a topic that is not just kind of silly and stuff. Bye!